What it is, y'all, it's your old boy Pilk, and my apologies, guys, this video was due like 3 weeks ago, and I resisted, and I mean I resisted using the new Alise, okay? So what I've done here, and I think this is fundamentally, like, doable for just about anybody out there. In fact, I would even recommend it, because she is really good. Really good. Like, not just, even outside of this event, she's really good. But I didn't want to summon for her, and I resisted her big time. And I've been a big proponent of save, right? Anniversary's coming up, you want to save. Here's what I did. I did one and done on Alise, and I've had a Prism Bond chilling, okay? So I did one and done on Alise, did a Prism Bond. She is +1. And the funny part is, I'm actually using the Hero Festa Alise that I never finished off. She's still +3. So next time we get a Festa banner, I'm really hoping that I'm actually able to max her out. So, even though that is resisted, it did help out big time. She actually was a huge benefit on this team. So let me walk you through this. Now, here's the thing. If you want to put one extra bond in Alise, if you get the new Alise, this one right here, she's even up to +2. She'll probably escalate this for you. In fact, I'm going to go throw one in here after this and run it. But let me go ahead and run this this team for you here. You can basically break this down by main thing is Hive is coming out with SA gauge charging. Alise's are DPS. Magic Hero Festa Alise is just here for some general buffing and nonsense. Bell is just, a good backup fire unit. None of these guys are SA. It's all going to be Alise. She's doing all the work. Everybody's literally just backup. Lazar's coming in with a really early physical resistance removal. Physical resistance will be a huge factor here. In fact, that's what we're using Finn for. Finn is going to remove all the physical resistance buffs on her opponent. So that's kind of his big thing. So he's going to remove the first one, and then he's going to remove the remainder. It's pretty easy. It's pretty straightforward. And then, once again, we're focusing all on buffing fire and buffing strength and buffing SA. We want as much SA as possible. Funny enough, we're not using his SA to increase our SA charge because it actually costs you. It actually is a deficit in your ability. By using his SA, you actually will... you'll wind up being unable to use his third skill to remove physical resistance buffs. So while it sounds plausible and preferable, it actually is not. Now, as far as Memoria goes, of course, we're using the Strength Memoria for turns 8 to 15. That's where it really matters. 6 to 10, we're buffing fire, and we're doing the SA charge, because like I said, SA is fundamentally super duper important. Okay? So turn 1, we're skill 1 on everybody. You know what? I didn't set the skill flow, so I want to make sure I do this right, because I finally got this set up, so I want to do this, get this out right. So hopefully this is able to help a few of you out there. I'm at the point where I can even, auto-run this. And after I put my extra bond in Alise, I should be able to S-clear it. So, what we're going to do, Hive is going to do her skill 1. Alise is going to do her skill 1. Magic Alise, the Festa Alise, is going to do her skill 1. And then Bell's going to do his skill 1. Pretty straightforward stuff. This is all setting up. Basically what we're doing is reading debuffs out really early. Now, notice we do not have anybody on the team that's doing debuff replication. So we need to keep our eye on the debuffs. We got to make sure those debuffs don't fall off. So periodically we're going to go back and we're going to check it, and we're going to see if those debuffs are falling off. Lazar comes in, he does skill 3. The whole point in this is to remove the physical resistance buff that they put up. So we've got our main DPS Alise. She skips skill 2, goes straight to skill 3. Okay, that's basically going to give us the 30% single target damage. The Festa Alise is going to continue where the buff stack is skill 2. And Bell we're never going to use the skill 3, so we're just going to use the skill 2 here for a little bit of extra damage. Now, we could use his skill 3 for buff replication. We won't need it, to be honest with you. but we could frankly use it. Now, this turn is incredibly important. The temptation is to either use Finn or Alise with their SAs. But if you do that, you're not going to make it very far. At least not with my units the way they're set up right now. So, what we're going to do is we're going to bring Finn out. Skill 3. The big thing is here, his extra action. Removes physical resistance and magic resistance buffs on the foe. Now, the Festive Alise will already remove the magic resistance buff, so it's not that big of a deal. But Finn's one and only job is to remove the physical resistance debuff. Now, here's the deal. Everybody else has a physical resistance buff on themselves. Finn needs that. So, what we're going to do is we're going to reuse skill 1 with Alise to place that on Finn. If you don't, Finn is going to take so much damage going forward, he's not going to be able to survive. I've tried it a multitude of times. It's not worth. Just forego this extra turn and use Carmine Ware here and get that physical resistance buff onto Finn, and that will help you out going forward. Otherwise, you risk losing a unit, and once you lose one unit, this whole thing falls apart. Okay? Now, we're going to do skill 3 with the Festa Alise, and with Belle, we're going to keep using skill 2. Those are their just main attack skills. Okay? So far, pretty straightforward. Now, if you're wondering why Finn is in front of Alise, initially I'd planned to use Finn's SA to do a double with Finn and Alise, and then use his physical resistance debuff, but the reality is, if we do that, once again, like I said before, we lose his ability to do the physical resistance, the physical resistance debuff removal, because his extra action from his SA will supersede the other extra action. So we basically have to resist the urge to ever use his SA. Instead, we're just going to SA with Alise, and everybody else is just going to kind of do their basic stuff. Now, this is where we need to start looking at debuffs. Now, if we go up here, physical resistance down 40% is going to wear out next turn, and, I mean, in fairness, we have to rebuff it next turn anyway because Argo will run out. So we're going to go ahead and just continue on with this, and we're going to use... I don't think I talked about Finn, but we're going to use Finn's skill 2 to start buffing himself so we can do a little bit of extra damage as well. So basically, if you're following along here, essentially what we've done is we set Finn up to remove physical resistance debuffs, and on top of everything else, he's going to have a death saving throw, so if we take any kind of major hit in this, he's going to prevent us from losing too much health. It's all very straightforward, but it's avoiding some of the pitfalls, or I guess some of the normal tactics we would utilize. You kind of have to resist that urge and just, go ham on Finn. So, Finn's going to do his skill 1 for his DPS. Belle's going to do his skill 1, like I said before, Argo will. And we're going to use skill 1 here with Spark Ignition? Spark Ignition. And that is just going to replace all the debuffs on our opponent here. Pretty straightforward stuff. Nothing too crazy. Now, the single target debuff will run out, but we'll rebuff that next turn. We're going to go ahead and just use her SA while it's here, and while we don't have the physical resistance debuff in the way. So, another SA with the new Alise. 3.5 mil. 3.5 mil is about on the low side. A good 4 mil. I've seen 4.3 mil out of her, but I think that was just a really lucky strike. I want to say 3.7, 3.8 is about on average. And once again, I want to emphasize that is with her at +1. So I'm at Mass Limit Break, she's going to be nutty. But I wanted to not use her at all. I really resisted using her. Anybody that's come to the live streams knows I've resisted this unit. I can't resist her anymore. She's just mandatory. But, as I said, one and done on her, and give her a Prism Bond. I think most people out there free to play can afford that tactic. So, especially considering we have the daily 11 draws, you probably have Dobe laying around and you don't even realize it. Go sell some old bonds of some like ancient units that you're never gonna like legitimately use in battle, and go through your Prism Bond in here. Get your A clear, get your rewards. Let's go. Ultimately, I suppose you could do this with her at level 60. It's going to probably take you an extra turn or two. You'll get the B clear, but you'll still get the rewards. Either way, it is what it is. Let's move on. Okay? So, turn 6. Finn's going to keep doing skill 1 for his DPS. Alise is going to move on to do her skill 3. The Festa Alise is going to do skill 3 as well. And Belle's going to do skill 2. Remember, the new Alise, second spot Alise, it gets confusing. Skill 3 is a debuff. We need that debuff. It's actually fallen off. So we have to replace it. So that's what we're doing here. That's the whole point in this turn. Okay? Pretty easy, pretty straightforward stuff. And look at that, we have another SA again. So, guess what we're gonna do? Okay? Let's check our debuffs, make sure everything's in place. We got strength and magic down 40%. Fire 2 damage down 40%. I'm sorry, fire resist down 42%. 1 unit resist down 30%. And physical resistance down 40%. Pretty straightforward. Okay? Once again, Finn's doing his skill 1. SA with Alise. Skill 3 with Festa Alise. And Belle is skill 2. Are you noticing a pattern here? Okay? 518. That's a substantial hit. Whew. If we did that every time, we would probably have this in the bag. All right. So, now in this turn, turn 8, we're getting really close to the SA. Physical resistance down is kind of wearing out, so we'll do Argo Will to rebuild that. That's Belle's skill 1. Skill 3 with Alise, because on turn 10, all these are going to get wiped out anyway. It doesn't matter. So this will be fine. Okay? And Alise is going to do, the new Alise is going to do her skill 3. So basically, this is just a damage-producing turn, not an SAing turn. Here we go. And if you notice, we're at turn 8, and we're already halfway done with this battle. Okay? Now, turn 10, like I said, we are going to get SA'd by the opponent, and we need to be very careful because everything's wiped out at that point. But that doesn't mean we can't do one more SA while our debuffs are in play, while everything's good to go. Let's jump in, shall we? Okay? I did spark Ignition here just because the beginning of next turn we could still produce a little bit. Next turn is vitally important, and it actually comes to bear something that I forgot to mention at the beginning of this. And I'll discuss that here in just a moment. But skill 3 with, or skill 1 with Finn, SA with Alise, Festa Alise is going to do S1, and then S2 with Belle. Okay? So, the one thing I forgot to mention here, 5.2 mil. Man, she is killing it tonight. Love it. I really would have put one more bond in her and just see if she could S-clear this. I'm willing to bet she will knock it out. So, turn 10. Got to be careful here. If you'll notice, my Alise is a bit slow. She's been running pretty slow compared to how she should normally run. And that's because, equipment-wise, she's the one unit running special equipment. I have Intario the Jester on her. By the way, guys, I believe, and I'll go double check my equips here, everybody else, I think Finn's running a level 60 breastplate. These two are running level 1 breastplates because they had so much physical resistance, they weren't taking any damage. And not taking damage, taking zeros means they weren't countering. And counters are vital to the long game here. So, but this Alise, the new Alise, is running Intario the Jester. And Intario the Jester, what it does is it nerfs your agility score. And I'll show you what that looks like here after this run. But what that means is her skill 1, while a fast skill, will be the very last fast skill that goes off. So essentially, when skills fire off, you have fast skills that go off in order of their agility number. Normal skills, just like case in point. Go back out here. That's just a super fire magic attack. It's not fast, it's not slow, just a normal everyday skill. Skills like that will go off in phase 2. Phase 3 are slow skills. Case in point, this. So what's going to happen is fast skills normally would occur before our opponent attacks. But I'm gathering his skill's a fast skill. Because what's going to happen is our opponent is going to remove all the debuffs. But if you do anything with a high agility number before those attacks are done, they become ineffective. So what I'm doing here is I'm using her skill 1 to put out that physical resist, magic resist, and AoE damage debuff, or say defensive buff, on all of our allies. We need that. If we don't have that, then we really better hope that our healing is on point and that Finn's death saving throw is on point. What I've done is I've just used the items at our disposal to remove some of the potential RNG here. That's it. Remember at the beginning I said on turn 3 I actually used her skill 1 again, and I used that to kind of give Finn some defense. We're doing that all over again, but we're giving everyone some defense. So, carefully watch the order in which stuff happens, okay? So they attack, okay? We do some counters. They attack again, and everything's removed, and Carmine Ware goes off. Then everybody else attacks, and Inspiring Courage happens absolutely last. If I did not have Intario the Jester, her skill would go off first, and that means that all those defensive buffs that I put on our team would be removed, and then on this turn we would just take whatever their native damage is. While that probably doesn't look like it would have killed him, believe me, that 30% makes a huge difference. I have had that kill these units. So I made a conscientious choice in this situation to utilize that to the best of my ability. Okay? So now, what we've got to do is we've got to rebuild up our debuffs. We can't do any more essays until debuffs are moved up. Finn already did his skill 3, so I'm going to do his skill 2 to buff him up so he does a little bit of damage. Now, this is where it kind of gets kind of nutty. Because you can see here, turn 11 and turn 12 is where we have to get for the S-Clear. And let's be fair here, that ain't going to happen. He's still got 30,000 or 30 million damage to fully be wiped out. Now, in fairness, if my Alise here was the new Alise was +2, we probably would have it in the bag at this point. She'd probably be hitting 7 mil every single time. But that's not the situation we're in. Therefore, we're just kind of deal with everything as it comes. So skill 1 with Finn, SA with Alise. Festa Alise is going to continue on with her buff stack, and Belle's going to continue on just doing general damage. Boom. 4.2 mil. Nice. Okay. Now, in reality, I do believe we did not actually have the single target damage debuff on our opponent. So that hit probably could have been a little more hardy. Actually, it says we do. I don't think it was, but I could be wrong on that. But I don't think we had that in play. No, actually, I take that back. We would have put that on turn 11. My apologies. We do have it in play. So, you know, a good amount of damage there, but not quite enough to pull it out. So what we're going to do is we're just going to continue on. We're just going to do our basic, skill 1 with Finn, skill 3 with Festa Alise, skill 2 with Belle, and skill 3 with our new Alise. Now, with luck, one more SA should do the trick. Because notice how far our opponent is falling now. So we're going to SA this turn, and we're going to continue doing our main attacks, and we should have this in the bag. I don't know why this took me 3 weeks to contemplate to get down. I really fought Alise kicking and screaming, but it is what it is. She's absolutely worth. Turn 15 is where you need to get for the A clear, so what we're going to do. Last time they ended it here, so let's just go ahead and do our main DPS moves. So skill 1, skill 3, skill 3, skill 2. Yeah, there we go. Didn't even need that last time. I missed some damage somewhere, but that's just simple RNG. So there you guys go. You can A-clear this. You can go get your 11 draw ticket. Totally worth, guys. Let me know if you have any questions about it. I know it's super late. My sincerest apologies for that, because quite frankly, I tried to do without Alise, and it is my personal opinion, it's impossible to S-clear it without her. In fairness, though, I'm lacking a little bit of damage here. There might be a team out there, but I just wasn't able to crack it. So let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, share. I know it's super late. Good luck to you. You got about 2 hours. Go get those A clears. Let me know if this helped you guys. And we'll try to be a little bit more timely about the other one, because it ends next Tuesday. So we'll try to knock that out next.